Moving on to theme 12, climate change. Is Natalie with us?
Yep.
Ah, great. Okay. Well, it's a great pleasure. Great pleasure. Can I just say, Natalie, it is a great pleasure. It does demonstrate the depth, the political depth of engagement that the People's Assembly has reached. When people like Natalie, as the leader of the Green Party, are not just talking about supporting the People's Assembly, but prepared to come and talk quite publicly at the Assembly. Very welcome.
Okay, well thank you very much, and it's great to be back in this hall. I was last in this room for the People's Assembly democracy session at the initial meeting, and those who were here then will remember it was very lively, and it's great to see that energy back again today. I haven't been able to be here all day, but I was here, and I want to congratulate you on passing the anti-racism motion. This is such a tremendously important issue. We have to stop the race to the bottom on immigration rhetoric. And I'm going to be there speaking on March 22, and I would like to echo the call from before. I hope all of you are there on March 22 on that anti-racism action, and you all bring lots of your friends as well. But what I'm actually here to do is to propose the motion that the People's Assembly campaign to deal with climate change. And until mid-December, we were very aware of the impact of climate change around the world. We saw incidences like the dreadful typhoon in the Philippines. But since then, the reality of climate change has come a lot closer to home in Britain. We've seen dreadful floods, we've seen considerable human suffering, we've seen loss of life, and we're seeing ongoing problems from those floods. And no one can honestly argue that climate change is not now here in Britain today. But let's not be negative. Let's think about the fact that we can tackle climate change and improve our society at the same time. And that's why this motion conference talks about 1 million climate jobs. And the sort of things that those million climate jobs could be. There's the wonderful program suggested, the energy bill revolution, proposed by the NGOs and the unions, that could take 9 out of 10 people out of fuel poverty, that could create 200,000 jobs and cut carbon emissions. It's an absolute no-brainer, and yet we've seen no real push for it. And it's time to say, let's push for an energy bill revolution. And if you think about other forms of climate jobs, what we need desperately is decent, affordable, reliable public transport that runs when you want it, where you want it. And for the Green Party, we've got lots of ideas about that, but one of the things I do want to commend to you is Caroline Lucas's private members' bill to bring the railways back into public hands. Take a little of my time to offer our support for both of the amendments proposed to this motion. The call from the GMB to retain the Environment Agency jobs, that was very much part of the call that we made in our 10-point flood response plan. We also called for the end of Owen Paterson, an Environment Secretary that's got to go. And we also very much support the call to campaign against fracking. It is simply no energy good for the Britain. And I think I do have to ask for conference's indulgence and support, because Caroline Lucas is facing court next week for a fracking protest, and I hope you'll give her her support. The fact is, conference, there is going to be massive radical change in our society around the globe in the next coming years. The fact is, neoliberalism, globalisation, burning up fossil fuels like there's no tomorrow, these all have to end. They've hit the buffers, the model is dead. And what we have to do is work together to build a new model that delivers two things. One, ensuring that everyone in Britain and eventually around the world has the access to the resources for a decent life. We are the world's 6th richest country. We should be able to make sure of that. And we have to do that within the limits of our one planet, because one planet is all that we have. So what that means is some people in Britain, the people who are relying on food banks now, the people who switch the heating off because they can't afford it, they need access to more resources. And the people at the top need to greatly reduce their resources and resource use. So conference, I commend to you this motion. Let's act on the reality of climate change, and let's, by doing that, make Britain a far more fairer, equal and just society. Thank you.